about Abram. Dude, Abram always pulls that mess, man. When they go into a land which is not theirs, or they come up on these strangers, he always pulled this game. He did that on the king of Egypt. Let's continue. Jasher 20:24. And the king said to them, what is this work you have been doing and saying you are brother and sister, and I took this woman for a woman? Go to the club, meet a woman, never met her before, you guys changing numbers, you're talking. She says, I don't have nobody. Really? You ever been married? Nah. But you find out down the road, she's divorced, she's living with another man, and stepping out on that man messing with you. What should you do? Get away from her as far as you can. Excuse me, very quickly. Why? Because there is a curse in touching this woman. She's another man's woman. This is not taught in the church. Christian, they ain't talking this in the church. The church is predominantly what? Women. Why they don't teach this in the church in America? Why? I don't want to upset my money. We haven't passed the hat yet. Now, if we go on past the hat, then we'll start talking about fornication or whatever. But until we pass it, we're going to be silent on that. We're just going to talk about Jesus today. Everybody be happy. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm only trying to make you think here. Don't just read that book. Understand what you're reading. These are con artists. They're running a game. The man just said, Abram did that to the Egyptian king, and he's running that on you. Give him back his woman. Okay, let's go to the next person. We've got Terach, Abram's father. We have Abram, him and Sarah running a game. Let's look at Isaac. Isaac and Rebekah. Genesis 26:1. And there was a famine in the land besides the first famine that was in the days of Abram. And Isaac, which is Yitzhak, Yitschaq. I wonder if that's where Shaq got his name, Chaq, Shaq. But Shaq is SH, huh? But this is CH. But again, this is Isaac. Went unto the same king that his daddy just left. Isaac goes to the same place. Genesis 26:6. And Isaac dwelt in Ger, Gerar. Genesis 26:7. And the man and the men of the place asked him of his woman. Abram had already established the game before he got there. Look, Sarah, tell them that you is my sister. Before he even walked into your land, before he stepped up, he had already had the game going. Isaac goes into the land, and the men approach Isaac and say, dude, she fine. Is that your woman? And he said, she is my sister. For he feared to say, she is my woman, lest, said he, the men of the place should kill me for Rebekah, because she was fair to look upon. One of the more light-skinned sisters, huh? Of course. Middle East? Where? That's Africa. You can call that Middle Eastern Africa, but it's Africa. There's no Israel is in its own land. You're in Africa. What you think is in Africa? The only time they show us in Africa, probably when there's a lot of devastation, these people are hungry, whatever. They don't show the built cities and whatever else that these Africans are living in. But you have to understand what you're calling Israel, Middle East, that's Africa. Why they don't call it Africa? Because when you mention the word Africa, what color do you think of? That's why they will not call it Africa. They'll say, oh, it's Middle East, Middle Eastern. That's Africa. All right, let's continue. So we already know that she's fine as can be. Okay. Genesis 26:8. And it came to pass when he had been there a long time that the king looked out of his window and saw, and behold, Isaac was sporting with Rebekah his woman. That's your sister, right? Okay. Didn't I see you out there smacking your sister on the rear end? Didn't I see you guys kind of chest rubbing and all that? That's your sister? You guys do that? Huh? This the king. Now remember, king is not stupid. Genesis 26:9. And the king called Isaac and said, Behold, of surety she is your woman. And how said you, she is my sister? And Isaac said unto him, Because I said, lest I die for her. Why did you say that's your sister? Because I didn't want to die for her. Abram didn't want to get killed behind Sarah. Not one woman, because this guy's had what? Several wives, concubines, and everything else. Die behind Sarah? I got me concubines over here. Because you remember, Abram got the one woman from Egypt that was Pharaoh. Pharaoh took that one handmaid and gave it to Abram. And she is the one who had Ishmael before Isaac was born. So Abram had other women, you know what I mean, guys? You got more than one? Shit, you ain't dying for that one, no, baby. Because this head over here is full. Shoot, it's tell like it is. Okay, let's continue. Genesis 26:10. And the king said, What is this you've done to us? One of the people might lightly have brought guiltness upon us. Meaning that, and this is what's interesting here. When Abram went to Egypt with Sarah, king brings Sarah up in here, man, he's ready to get it on. But the only problem is he stopped. Then Abram goes into the second place. She just showed up. Nobody touched Sarah, and a curse hit the land. Now this is Isaac going into the same land that his father went into the second time. And this king here probably saying, I dealt with your daddy Abram. Don't tell me you the son and you guys gonna run the same game. This my sister. The only thing is, what is good here, no one touched Rebekah. And there was no need for this curse to be removed. So that's a good thing. Let's continue. Again, you're saying, Anthony, what is this about? The con artist in the Bible. Terach, Abram's father, Abraham running the game. This is his son Isaac running the game. That's third generation, right? Let's look at Rebekah, who also is a con artist and ran the game. Genesis 26:7. And Rebekah spoke unto Yaakov. Y-A-A-Q-O-V. That would be Jacob. Okay, Rebekah spoke to Jacob, her son, saying, Behold, I heard your father speak unto Esau, your brother. This the mama, getting ready to run game on dad and her oldest son. Genesis 27:8. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice according to that which I command you. Genesis 27:11. And Jacob said to Rebekah's mother, Behold, my brother is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man. Yeah. My brother's intelligent, been to college, you know, got his stuff swooped back. Me? I'm just a player, walking around, being cool, bobbing my head, walking with that pimp lip. My daddy's gonna know the difference. Man, you walk up in the bedroom. No, 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 no. Now it's you, Jacob. How you know? I heard that pimp walk. You was dragging that foot, sliding. Let's continue. Genesis 27:12. My father, perchance, will fill me, and shall seem to him as a deceiver, and I shall bring a curse upon me and not a blessing. Isaac is old. He's ready to bless Esau because Esau is the first son, the oldest son. And Isaac did love Esau, no doubt. And he loved Jacob, but Isaac loved Esau. That was his first son. Mama gets word from Abram, and this is why in the book, I never read this in the King James, but in the Sefer Bible it explains. Rebecca got word from Abram that Jacob is to be the chosen one. So now she's going to fulfill the word of Abraham. And she's doing this even though you're thinking, this is cold, man. Why is Mama doing this? Mama got word from Abram, her father-in-law. This is how it's supposed to go down. She's just following the script, and that's all she's doing. Genesis 27:13. And his mother said unto him, upon me be your curse, my son. Only obey my voice and go fetch them. Listen, son, I know you're concerned about a curse, but don't you worry. Mama's saying, let that be on me, boy. And you just go do what I told you. Mama, I don't want to do that. Daddy gonna get his belt and give me a whooping. Mama says, listen, boy, don't you worry about that. If your daddy go do some spanking, let him spank me. Really? Okay, Mama, I'm good for that. Okay, let's continue. So you're saying, Anthony, we're still in this third generation because we have Terach, the father, Abram's father, was con artist. Abram, he's a con artist. He's been running game. Isaac ended up running game. This third generation, Rebecca, Isaac's mama, Rebecca, Jacob's mother, who is married to Isaac, is going to run a game on Isaac and Esau. So Jacob will receive the birthright. It's game. You have been taught, oh, Jacob, Esau sold his birthright for food. That's a lie. Go tell that minister quit lying to me, because it says right here. It says that the mama said to Jacob, go do this. Jacob, being good individual, kind-hearted, says, look, Mom, this is what's going to happen. Mom says, don't you worry about it. You let that curse fall on me, but go do what I told you. It's con artist running game, but let's continue. Laban, Rebecca's brother. So this is Isaac's mama's brother, Laban. Let's continue. Genesis 29:20. And Jacob served 7 years for Rachel, and they seemed unto him but a few days, for he loved her. Genesis 29:21. And Jacob said unto Laban, Rachel's daddy, give me my woman, for my days are fulfilled, that I may go in unto her. Yo, man, you said 7 years ago that if I worked for free, I could have Rachel. I didn't did my 7 years, man. Give me my woman. Now, player, I want my woman. Genesis 29:23. And it came to pass in the evening that he took Leah his daughter and brought her unto him, and he went in unto her. Okay. I'm supposed to get Rachel. Dude waits till nighttime to bring me Leah, which is no problem. Dude, Jacob, was you drunk? How did you not know this was Rachel? I done laid down with her, did what I did, and woke up the next morning and realized it wasn't Rachel? Dude, had you been drinking? You should have known this was the sister. Because the sun go down don't mean, it had to have been real dark. You guys still had candles. You guys know about the story. Pick the woman up in the club, go home, wake up the next day and be like, what? Where'd you come from? How that weave you had on? What is this? What about them long eyelashes? What's this on my bed? Your fingernails, why are they falling off? But what I'm getting at is, I don't know how he did not know this was a sister. Let's continue. Genesis 29:25. And in the morning, behold, it was Leah. And he said to Laban, what is this you've done unto me? Wait a minute. Isn't this the same thing that the king said to Abram? Isn't this the same thing that the king said to Isaac? How is this now Isaac's son Jacob saying the same thing? What is this you've done to me? It runs in the family. Did not I serve you for Rachel? Wherefore then have you beguiled me? Why'd you do me like this, man? I served you for Rachel, and I ended up with Leah. Out of the 12, the tribe comes from Jacob. Out of the 12 tribes, majority of the main players come from Leah. What does that mean? One thing for a fact, Leah is in heaven. So when I say no women in heaven, no, baby. Men are starting in heaven and coming here. Women are here on earth going to heaven if you do what you're supposed to. And the only problem is the only woman in the Bible that was referred to as a good wife is Leah. Rest of them weren't worth any good. Jesus' mama, Yeshua's mama, Mary, she was not even considered a good wife. No, she couldn't even find her kid for 3 days. Over there tripping at the mall. Little Jesus didn't run off. And I couldn't even understand. How you going to be at your church for 3 days and you ain't like, whose kid is this? Hey, man, that little kid is always in the kitchen in the refrigerator. Who done left that kid around here? Hey, Jesus, where your mom and your daddy at? Nobody said, hey, Jesus, where your mom and daddy at? It's crazy, huh? Okay, Jacob. All right. Terah is the #1 king of the con artist game. He passes this technique down to Abraham. Abraham runs that game twice on the king. It goes down to the 3rd generation into Isaac. Isaac's running that game on the king. Then Isaac's wife, since Isaac ran the game on the king, Isaac's wife runs a game on him. That way Esau loses a birthright and it goes to Jacob. Now we have Mr. Jacob here, and also Jacob gets conned. Jacob gets conned by his uncle Laban. He goes over there and works 7 years for Rachel. No, dude, you get Leah. Dude, I gotta do 14 years for Rachel? Oh, man. God, that's a long time. She had to have been ultra fine. But the only problem is the best wife was Leah. He should have took Leah and left Rachel. Why? Because Rachel was a pain. She may be fine, but remember, them fine women can be a pain. Let me continue. And this is where that con artist game stops. Jacob, Genesis 32:24. Jacob was left alone, and there wrestled a man with him until the breaking of the day. Genesis 32:25. And when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh. And the hollow of Jacob's was out of joint. So in other words, Jacob was wrestling. It says he's wrestling with a man. But in a sense, he's wrestling with this spirit. And what is this spirit? It's this con game that's in the family. And the family's been running game. And it passes down. This is why some of you may be all turned up, and I don't know why I act this way. Go look at your mom and daddy. Go look at your grandma, your grandpa. Go look at your aunt and uncle. Somebody along that line has been turned up. Pass that on down to you. That's where it goes. Come on. Mama ain't been married, now you're not married. Mama been out there with men, 6 kids, 7 different daddies, and look at you. 5 kids and 14 daddies. How do we know? We see it on TV. And the father of your child is none of these 10 men on the stage. Okay, let's continue. The con artist behavior. Okay, so he was wrestling and with the spirit and prevailed not. So the spirit touched him on the thigh, and the thigh becomes out of joint as he wrestles with him. The con artist behavior has stopped. Why? Jacob is wrestling with the spirit about his jive heritage attitude. Jive heritage attitude. Where did it come from? Terach, the father, grandfather, great-grandfather. Passed it down to Abram. Abram's out there running jive, running game. Abram passed it down to Isaac. Isaac is out there running game, jiving around. Isaac passes it down into Jacob. Now Jacob's out there running game. The only problem is Isaac runs a game, so his wife runs a game on him. So Jacob gets the birthright and Esau suffers. Now Esau's pissed off and he ends up, and it says in the Bible, stealing from his parents. Because Esau's burnt. He's pissed off. And honestly, from what I've read, I can't find where Esau did anything wrong other than that grandfather, Abraham, said he's not the chosen one. But Esau did nothing wrong to bring this upon himself. You got to understand, these other guys out there running cons or running game. Jacob's out there gaming. Isaac's out there gaming. Abraham is out there gaming. Terach is out there gaming. But Esau did not game anyone. Esau just got the wrong stick of it, or was it the wrong end of the deal somehow, folks. But Esau got messed over. And I can understand. I can't understand that because it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but it is what it is. What my buddy Ray says, it is what it is. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's enough of me, of explaining to you the con artists in the Bible. Yes, we do have people in the Bible that were chosen individuals that are highly liked, especially Abram was considered a friend in heaven. But again, he had this game that he was out there running. Isaac had a game. Isaac's wife Rebekah was gaming. Look at her brother Laban, gamed his own nephew, Jacob. And it stops with Jacob when Jacob has to wrestle with the spirit. Main important thing is that Yahuwah does not want you out there jiving people, con artists, con game, and think it's okay. No. He had to stop it with Jacob, is what he did. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's enough of me. It's Anthony Schollers for NoWomenInHeaven.com. You be safe and take care. And don't be afraid to ask your minister questions. Ask him some questions. Thank you. Bye-bye. Be safe.